Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and today I'm diving into Unsettled from Orange Nebula. This is a game that arrived a few months ago, and I was busy, and I'm always busy, but I didn't have a chance to dive into it, but I had a chance to play this now, and I am really enjoying this one. So I'm diving into it solo for the first time. My previous two plays were with 3 players on different planets. In general, Unsettled is a framework. It's a framework for a space exploration game in which you are going to be visiting a variety of planets. There's some general text as far as the terrible things that are happening to you, your survival through space, the various incidents, all that stuff, very humorous things, whatever it is. We also have our individual planet boxes we're going through. Today I'm going through Grakkis. I believe I'm saying it correctly. It's a made-up word. I can say it how I want. We're going through Grakkis today. Grakkis is going to be a game, a planet plagued by energy storms and elevation. We'll talk more about the various mechanics. But like I said already, Unsettled is a framework. Unsettled gives you a general set of rules, and then every planet mixes up that experience so that you are diving into something different. You're diving into a different set of adjustments to the core rules you know. And then every planet has 3 scenarios to dive into as well. So we are going into Task A right now. As I do things wrong or right, bear with me, because first of all, I mess up rules in general, but secondly is every planet is its own rule set. I've read the rules for Grakkis, I theoretically know what I'm diving into, but the stuff that I would normally interrupt and pause my playthrough for like a quick check on the forums or triple check in the rulebook, I'm just going to power through because this is a film playthrough, so we're going to do that. There will be a review on this channel at some point soon. I know that this is coming back to Kickstarter at some point in February. I think February 22nd, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not entirely certain. So if you want to get your hands on this game, if you have missed out on it, they're going to be doing a full reprint of the original base game, as well as new content for the game. Like I said already, I am really enjoying it. I have complaints, I have critiques, we'll talk about those things in the review, but overall, I mean, Orange Nebula made Vindication, which is my number 8 game of all time, at least as of now. And this one is gearing up to head on over to be friendly neighbors with Vindication, I'll say that much. Where it ends up, we'll see. I need more plays, like I said already. This is my 3rd play, and my first solo one. With that said, let's go ahead and dive into it. Starting off with a bit of a flavor text around Grakkis. Grakkis is a sand-swept desert ruin ravaged by a planet-wide chemical storm. Once home to a planet-spanning forest of unfathomably large trees, it is now that forest's graveyard, its stone-like petrified remains looming monolithically through the ages. Colossal alien life forms tower across the land like a waking existential nightmare, while smaller sand-battered creatures resiliently carve homes into the stone trees, surviving on the colorful paste-filled sacks found in stone-shelled vegetation. Over it all, the storm. A tempestuous sheet of chemicals and gases that blankets the land. Pulsating with immeasurable power, the storm constricts and expands, raging along the surface before retreating to ravage the skies, again and again through the millennia. There's much to be discovered here, and the storm will almost certainly be the key. We must use it carefully, though, or the roads it provides may lead to our death. Now, there's going to be specific aspects as far as Grakkis operates. We'll cover those as we go through things. This is going to be a bit of a guided thing. I'll try to walk through my turns, explaining things as I go. This game ultimately is a resource management engine. You're going to have a bunch of resources that you're trying to manage. Your actions are going to be one of those main resources. We'll talk about it as we go through our turns. I'll explain the first turns more, and then dive into it from there. But let's start with the specific task we're diving into, which has more flavor text. Jump through the scarab. Jump starting the scarab. The scarab and the scarab, for context, is our spaceship. The scarab's primary engine is compromised, leaving us unable to create thrust and just sort of floating around. We've strategically floated to the surface of this stormy desert wasteland, where we strategically thumped down between 2 possible building sites for us to set up science stations. Very strategically, not at all by lucky happenstance. If we don't find a way to repair the engine, this planet will become our graveyard. So we're going to find a way, because as graveyards go, this planet isn't great. We can do better. The good news is that readings indicate the wild chemical storm raging across the planet has the potential to create the kind of massive gaseous discharge we require for our repairs. First, we need to construct accumulator pylons, science for batteries, to store the storm's chemical energy. Then we'll leash a conductive tether from the batteries to the scarab, then we'll use that energy to repair the engine. It's pretty complex science, which isn't really the science we would have asked for, but hey, we have each other, which has sometimes been enough. From there, we have to go ahead and set up. These set of cards are going to open up and unfold like a book. In general, the way I'm setting up on the table is to maximize table space so you can see things. It's not the ideal recommended setup, although honestly it works. Every planet represents a different configuration. Over here we have a specific card, the Stonewood Sanctuary over here, and we have the Empyrean Hideout over here, and the rest of the cards are randomly face down as we have our explorers on our spaceship going to be wandering around and exploring things as we go. We have this task over here, construct accumulator pylons. The only safe place to construct pylons are but as far apart as possible, so we're kind of having a day. You must construct both pylons. Use the action below, we'll talk about action shortly, When on a node with an empty build site to construct a pylon. Oh, we're building new things. Fun, 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 fun. Place a black marker in a box on the card each time you build one. We have to have this specific knowledge present, which is good. He's heading towards that knowledge over there. And we have to have these resources. Again, we'll talk about that as we walk through what is about to be our very first turn. In general, in this game, the main thing you're trying to manage are your resources. You don't want to run out of time, because every time this clicks around, you're going to lose an endurance. So you're going to be ticking down slowly on your endurance, which is not good. Endurance going down to 0 means you die. And so we have to manage our time. Time is one of the many resources we're going to manage in the game. And with that, let's go ahead and set our starting dice. These are not actually called dice. They have a different name, but I don't remember what they're called. And so I'm calling them dice for the moment. But we're going to rotate these to show that we have 2 action points. If we're playing on different levels of difficulty, we can modulate those in different ways. Right now, we have the scarab, we have these, and let's dive in to my first solo play of Unsettled. So, I don't know what I'm doing at all. I mean, I know what I'm doing, but I don't know the best way to do it. So this character over here has that character has Theorize, which is actually another explorer rotates their insight block to match yours. That's interesting. So I want to kind of power into that. Rotates their insight block to match yours. Then gains. Oh, rotates, not adjusts it. Fine, so this character wants to heavily explore. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to send Luna exploring, because Luna exploring is always a good thing. It's a free action. Every character can send Luna somewhere, so Luna's going to be sent off that way. Our current elevation is low. That's something specific to this planet. We'll talk about it more. And we cross this marker over here. Now this marker has a time unit. We don't like crossing time units. We might have to, but that's going to be taking away our time. When entering, if you possess Petrified, we're going to go ahead and put that there. We also have an Ancient Bone that we're going to grab from this over here, if I can find it. Ancient Bone is going to go on this spot, but we can't take it because there's no action spot, so we can't do anything right now. But Luna moves here. Also should have probably generated resources where I was, but we're going to go ahead and have Luna generate some resources. If I can find my dice, I'm going to generate some green resources. And we'll have 2 green resources generated, so we're going to take these over here. Basically, Luna on her turn can move and generate a resource type that is not currently present. In this case, we're generating some materials as opposed to data. Materials have to be gathered by ourselves, data can be gathered by Luna, and the third option is power, which we can just gather from anywhere. And the storm is in fact going to help us in that category, but we'll talk about that more as we get through things. From there, I have a choice to either follow Luna or not. I'm going to have this character go first, and we're going to have you walk off an entirely different edge. Why? Because it's fun. So we're going to go ahead and walk off this edge. We're going to take our first action, and we're going to hope for the best. We don't have the best, but we also don't have the worst. If you are grounded, you may take a brief interlude to pip a die up. That's not a bad thing, honestly. It's not a bad thing. So that was our free move, so we're moving 1. In general, each turn you have a free move, and you have the possibility of a traverse action where you can move more. I'm not taking that right now. In fact, I might be splitting up entirely. Do I want to split up? Is that a good idea? It's never a good idea. We'll figure things out. Anyway, so that was my first action there. That was a free move. For my second action, I think I want to investigate an opportunity. So we're going to go ahead and take this die over here, and we're going to rotate it down because the spot we're putting it on has a downward symbol. So it's going to be there. It's going to go there, matching that. And that, because the color matches that, we're also going to get an insight. So we're going to move our insight up 1. Then we will go ahead and pursue an opportunity on your node. So we're going to grab our opportunity deck, and we're going to start reading some flavor text. These represent our various actions we can take. We're going to go through them all slowly as we do them, but that is one option to investigate opportunities. So this person is investigating opportunity. We also have an action available to us over here, but we don't need that action yet, so we're going to hold off on it. An inadvertent challenge. You startle a needle-shaped creature that darts between 2 large rocks and promptly inflates like a balloon, filling the spaces and making itself nearly impossible to pull out. So of course, you feel a powerful need to pull it out. That sounds right. Immediately, each local explorer gains a pip. So that's fun. I'm actually going to go ahead and gain a pip on... Which one do I want to gain a pip on? I think I want to gain a pip on... None of these actually are that compelling. That one is interesting. I haven't really thought about whether I want to do that right now, but let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and gain a pip on this one over here. So we're going to move this to 3 on that blue one. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's do that. Okay, great. No, the blue one actually has the action here. We're going to move the No, we're going to move the blue one. That's great. Okay, great. Then we're going to go ahead and look at this action over here where we can do lure phasmid. Okay, we have to be grounded, which we currently are. We're tracking our grounded versus elevated status over here. Various things will give us the ability to change that. And the storm currently is elevated. We don't want to start our turn in the same elevation as the storm. If the storm is elevated, we want to start grounded. If the storm is grounded, we want to start elevated. Although the storm does have some nice positive effects too. But because we're grounded, we now have this action over here. We're going to take this die to put it over here as an opportunity that we can engage with, and we are, sure enough, going to engage with it. We're going to take our die, put it on here, which is going to have to rotate it down 2, but it is going to give us the ability to to gain 2 insight. So, to gain 1 insight. So we're going to gain that insight over here, popping this up 1, and then we're going to lure the phasmid. We're going to lure the ballooning phasmid, which we're going to gather, and then we're going to get 2 of these. So we're going to move 2 more insight up. That was the opportunity we just took, and we took this card as well as one other thing, because we're now going to get rid of this opportunity, putting it off to the side in the used opportunity pile, which I just made up over here, and grabbing a scientific anomaly card, which you're going to grab whenever you grab one of these. And now I have this scientific anomaly where once I get electrified, well, it gives me the tag electrified, but once I have the comprehension of red, which I'm slowly working towards, so that works nicely, I'll have the opportunity to discard this to move 1 and, well, deal the effects of this. We're going to go ahead and put this down on my board over here for right now. We can carry multiples, but I'm just going to worry about that. And then my third action, and this is important, your third action always has to be resting. So this one over here should have rotated down to 2. It should have rotated down from 3 to 1. And then this one is going to be a rest action, where I'm going to put it over here and pip it up 1. Because that's moving up 1, we pip it up 1, but we also advance time, meaning every turn you have to take a rest action, and every turn you have to move a die up 1 and move the time marker. That was their turn. Let me just process this card. Assimilate into the bio network. Discard this to move 1, to gain 1 of charge power from the dynamo to cover, and permanently negate any node edge symbol. I honestly don't understand that. That does not make sense to me. It might be relevant to other things. That one does not currently make sense to me. We'll figure it out later. Move 1 energy from the dynamo to cover, and permanently negate any node edge symbol. Huh. Don't fully understand that card. That's the downside of trying to figure things out here. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and power forward. This card comes off because I've resolved that opportunity, and we're going to take this turn over here, the Scarab. So, we could try to head in the same general direction, which sometimes could be a good idea, but we're going to start by moving Luna and try to see how things play out. So we're going to move Luna 1 over here. Luna's going to go ahead and exploring, and that's going to give us a time symbol there, which is not the worst, but if I'm elevated, we can gain a rest action. I'm not elevated though, so it's not really relevant, and Luna's going to go ahead and roll for data this time. We're going to roll 2 data. Now Luna can collect data. This will be more helpful for us as we get more things. Right now it's only partially helpful. So 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Now the interesting thing, let's go ahead and take our dice off over here so we have them available. And the interesting thing over here is I can try to wander across that hoping for the best or planning for the worst. I kind of want to team up with my teammate over here so we can start traversing in different areas. I don't know if that makes sense honestly, but it could be. Well, we want to construct a pylon but as far as possible. To construct a pylon, place on a it says you must, but as far apart as possible. It says you want to construct the pylons as far apart as possible. It doesn't specify whether it wants me to construct them here or not, which is interesting in and of itself. I don't know how I feel with that. Do the pylons have any abilities on them? Does not look like it. So we'll find out. Let's go ahead and continue forward. I think I am going to go ahead and move to the left. Let's move to the left. Let's cross this pylon over here and see what happens. So we're going to cross that edge. We don't get any bad symbols on that edge. You may adjust your elevation. Okay, so we could put a die here to adjust our elevation, which we don't want to do yet, but we will as the storm approaches that. So that's relevant later, perhaps. But I don't like the fact that right now there's not a lot going on there, so I think I'm going to take a similar sequence of actions. We're going to go ahead and... Do I want to start in the storm? I don't think I want to. I think I'm going to go ahead and do a similar thing. I'm going to start with that investigate action to pursue an opportunity on this node. We're going to pop up an insight, so we have that over there. We're going to grab one of these cards, these opportunities, and read it. Special delivery. You spot a winged creature laboriously flapping towards the storm, carrying a skull that resembles the behemoths you've seen towering in the horizon. Upon reaching the storm, the creature is ripped violently away, forcing it to drop the skull, which tumbles to the ground at your feet as the creature vanishes into the distance. It's hilarious. Immediately, all locals explorers not in the storm, which is us, gain 1 pip. Okay, we're going to go ahead and gain that on the green die. collect bone sample. So we can go ahead and take an action. Again, we can put that action down, but I'm going to do this right away. We have to be grounded, and we get the baby behemoth skull. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down here, rotating it down by 1, in order to both get the baby behemoth skull, which is over here, which is going to come with a card in a second, as well as getting 1 pip because we matched color, and 2 more pips because we matched that. So 1, 2, we're at the top of our track as well, and we have another opportunity, another card that we can grab. So we're going to go ahead and see what we have here. It's another red one. Are they all red? I wonder if they're more red on this planet because we have power as a currency on this planet. So we are now electrified as well, and we have a similar ability, the exact same ability. I'm not going to look through this, but I do wonder if they're all red. We're going to give it a quick shuffle and see what goes on there. Discard to move 1 power from the dynamo to cover and permanently negate any node edge symbol. I don't know what the dynamo to cover is. Either way. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue moving forward there. Let me just make sure. Let me just do a quick check of this over here. Dynamo to cover. It doesn't specify anything here. It does not specify anything about dynamo and cover. I don't know what the dynamo is. We have the storm surge, we have the behemoth pressure. We don't have anything called a dynamo. It might be something that unlocks as we go through this. Let's find out. And then for my third action, like I did before, did I do a third action? No, I didn't do a third action. No, I did. I used that red die over here, which is utilized, and then we're going to move my blue die up and advance the rest marker, and that's my turn. These 3 dice come out, and we're back to Jonathan over here. I just decided Jonathan's his name. Don't ask me why. Jonathan has an option on the table. You could try to move forward, but we'll be crossing a time symbol. Crossing a time symbol means that we will unfortunately lose 1 time, which is never a good thing, but ultimately, as you can see, there's lots of time symbols. Sometimes it's just going to be necessary. Jonathan could try to move Luna around the board first, hoping for the best. Jonathan's going to go ahead and send Luna exploring downwards, hoping that we can get something going on there, and Jonathan's going to go ahead and have this. When entering, if you possess Electrified, gain 1. So that's not bad. It's going to be a little complicated figuring this out here, how to not lose all our time. But we're going to do what we can. We're going to go ahead and have Luna roll this die over here and put 1 blue on that spot. So not the best search as far as this goes over here. But hey, it could be worse, right? Then we're going to go ahead. We could do another investigate action, try to explore. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I haven't really started in the storm. My expectation, though, is that we're going to start in the storm shortly. So the question is, can I do something to not be in the storm? That's the question we have on the table. I think I'm going to walk up. Okay, this is going to cost us time, but we'll see how this works. Okay, we're going to go ahead and walk up 1. So we're going to be crossing that time symbol. Okay, now here's the good news and the bad news. We are crossing that time symbol, so we lose a time. We are also going to be crossing that symbol, though, so we gain an insight. So this is going to reset to the bottom. I'm going to set it to blue for right now, but I'm going to get a green insight, which is this, which is also helpful for building structures. We now have that, and that comes with a chemistry breakthrough. Okay, whenever you get a comprehension, you also get one of the abilities that come with that planet. The abilities are going to be very different and unique to each planet, as are these anomalies and these distress thingies, which will happen when we start a turn in the storm. So we have drink behemoth secretions, always a good idea. A local explorer, oh, 1 second. When entering, if you are grounded, gain 1 green. We are grounded, so we're going to gain a green. Okay. Then we have drink behemoth secretions. A local explorer loses a distress. Okay, so we can pay 1 green once per turn to have a local explorer lose a distress. That is one of the opportunities, the options this character has as their specific abilities. From there, that was my first move. I haven't spent any of my dice. I could do an exploration action. I could try to traverse more, which is not the bestest, but not the worst. It might be the bestest, honestly. You are immune to the storm and may access this build site and structure. But I'm not elevated. What do I do? I think I'm going to go ahead and move upwards 1. Okay, so I'm going to move this down 1. Okay, that's going to go down to our no time left. We're still fine as long as we don't rotate this down further. And we're going to go ahead and gain an insight because we have that, because we use the matching die. Then we're going to move up 1, which is going to basically be an extra move action. So we're crossing this line over here, and we have the following. Okay, if you are grounded when entering, we rotate a die down 1. So we're going to rotate our blue down 1 because why not? But additionally, we cross this insight line, so we're going to get an insight. So that part's all good. I am moving my way up there, but I'm also not really able to do everything I need right now, and I'm going to need to have that ability over there. So I think I know what I'm doing next. I have a good idea. Oh no, I'm doing the wrong person. Did I do the wrong person? I just activated the wrong person. You are at the top of your track as green. Oh boy. This goes back in the deck. I did that incorrectly. Wrong character, wrong character. So let's shuffle this up, because really, you are the person who did this. So this character over here should have done this. This became red. We got red comprehension. Apologies for that. We're going to get a red ability. Let's see what we get for our red ability. Okay. And your dice should be up by 1 and up by 1, which means your die should have gone down by 1, and I'll rotate blue down by 1, okay, before seeing what goes on. We're going to have this tweaked chronology, may be used to ignore a time symbol from any source except rest. Interesting. That could be useful. That could help us manage our time very effectively. I like that a lot. We are going to start hunting for red now. We are going to start hunting for red a lot. Okay, so that's our ability over here. We're going to put that up here so we can kind of see things as we go. That is much more helpful, but it also means I have this red thing over here, which means I'll be able to move over there and create a pylon. Interestingly enough, we only have 3 more face-down things here, which usually there's more build sites for stuff. I'm a little wondering how that works, unless they're all build sites, unless I just got unlucky. I still have 2 dice to manage over here, and I'm this person, which means I did things incorrectly. I think what I'm actually going to do is the following. Ready? Okay, because this person also needs a red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this over here, and I'm going to put it over here, which doesn't change the die, and I'm using my special ability, which is a little risky. Another explorer rotates their insight to match yours, okay, which mine, ooh, that's interesting. I'm going to leave this as red. Okay, I'm going to leave this as red again. I'm going to power through red a second time, and that means I'm going to rotate this to match red. Or maybe I do that as the first thing. I'm going to do that as my first thing before I do that. So this is before I upgrade it. I'm going to do that my ability, and then do this to make it red, and then move forward 3 insights. So 1, 2, 3, rotating it to blue. And this one I'm going to rotate to green as I go. It made sense. It worked. Hopefully you followed that. But then also, and this is the downside, they're going to lose an endurance for doing so. So I just gave them a red power, which is awesome, because now they have that red technology they need. I also gave them 3 insight, which again is awesome. But the downside is they lost an endurance, which is not awesome. Shift magnetic resonance. Set all local explorers to the same elevation. Okay, I'm okay with that. It doesn't to the same elevation. Set all local explorers to the same elevation. Okay, fine. We're going to go ahead and shift is change. Okay, fine. So we're going to put this down over here. It's actually, I'm not 100% certain how that card works, because I know you can change elevation, but it just said, I guess you just choose any one elevation and they all go there. That's fine. Okay, so you're moving up there, you're doing your thing, you did your free move, we got that part handled, we moved the die down, we have to take a rest action, so now this is going to go over here and move up 1 as we rest, which is also going to unfortunately advance the time, which means somebody is going to get hurt real bad. In fact, they're both going to get hurt real bad. Watch what happens here. So we move over here, the storm shifts. The storm shifts, and this storm token is going to move over here. And we're going to immediately change this storm card and replace this card. So this card is going to replace to the bottom, and we're going to draw a new storm card. The storm's constantly shifting and changing. And now, ooh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. The game just got easier because of luck. This is the perplexing calm. You see, the storm's going to trigger whenever you start your turn in the storm. So let's go ahead and show you what that looks like. So the storm is not always a bad thing, apparently. In this case, the storm is a great thing. This is a perplexing calm. We're starting in the storm. This character is starting their turn in the storm, which means they're going to immediately, the active explorer is going to gain 2 dice pips. So we're going to move these dice pips up like so, because they started in this weird storm that seems to be calling to us in some way, shape, or form, working with us as opposed to against us. And so now we have our actions, but we had a slightly better just luck there, because we want to be in the same elevation as the storm, at least until this continues to move around. And so to that end, we still have to find things. We want to find energy right now. We really want to find energy, so we're going to go ahead and grab this die over here, because energy is going to help us as far as doing things like, the having maybe used to ignore a time symbol from any source. Tweak chronology. That's really helpful. It's going to help us maintain the time when we cross different sources. So we're going to go ahead and pip this down over here like so, in order to generate 2 energy. The way when you charge power, you always charge 1, and if you use a red die, you charge a second. We're charging that power over here. We have that in play. We can spend that power now, once per turn. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to move down over here. As our free movement, we're moving down. And that's going to immediately have 2 time symbols and 2 insight. We're going to take the 2 insight, which is awesome. I forgot to take this, by the way. But in terms of the time symbol, we are going to have to lose one time symbol because we're going to spend one to prevent the other one from being lost. So we are going to lose one time. This is unfortunately going to advance forward, but that otherwise previously dangerous spot, not as scary and dangerous. We're going to have Luna head up towards us because we want to start generating other resources as well, especially if I'm going for blue over here. That'd be awesome. These over here are doing totally fine, so I'm not particularly worried about that as of right now. This whole thing from the dynamo. Oh, this is the dynamo. Move to cover and... Oh, I understand this now. Okay, perfect. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to slightly change that, okay? Because this is actually a really good spot. We are going to go ahead, assimilate into network, discard this, okay? We're going to discard this electrified status over here in order... Oh, that's interesting. Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't want to... I want to be electrified. Electrified could be fun for me. You know what, I'm going to hold on to this for a little longer, but I understand what this means now. I got this, okay? So for all those who are, like, shouting at me, I understand it now. Great. That will be my first movement, my free movement. I used one die over there. I move Luna up, and Luna's going to be rolling a green die to generate, hopefully, 3 resources, not 3 resources. We're going to put that over there, and then we're going to gather some blue resources, because we're probably about to be blue, well, soon. So we're going to go ahead and utilize our blue die to move to... Now, Luna can go ahead... Adjust the elevation of an explorer within one node of Luna. Okay, so Luna actually has the ability to, I forgot to do it, Luna always has her own specific ability. We can put a die there to do something, and it's always planet-centric. In this case, we can adjust the elevation of a local explorer, or within one node. But I'm going to be using this over here to move down to that in order to pick up these 2 and 1 more. Now, for context, that happens where Luna is. I didn't have to be there. Luna had to be there. But in this case, that was my turn. That was my action. We are fine over here. And then this die is going to go over here because it has to, unfortunately. And we're going to advance time. And we're all going to go down 1 on endurance. This is the scary part of the game. We have a clock constantly ticking down to 0 where someone might have to be dragged, kicking and screaming, back to the scarab, which is fine. Oh, fun fact. I've yet to have anyone actually... get exhausted in this game, so if I do things wrong when that happens, it's because I haven't engaged with that yet. That was Red's turn. We now move to Blue's turn. Blue's turn is starting in the storm because they're grounded. The storm is grounded. Blue's going to go ahead and move. I could have said Jonathan or whatever, but I forget what their names are. Let's come up with some names of some blue and red characters. What is a blue and red character? I don't know. I don't have any good ideas for this. I'm not going to try to remember that. We're going to go with blue and red until I come up with something better. But anyways, I now have my actions to take, and we can move Luna as well. So actually, we're going to go ahead and shift Luna this way, so we have a better idea of what's happening on this side, so we can make informed choices. Stone fruit. Now, we want the stone fruit bulb, which is going to go over here. When entering, you must... If you possess moist, gain a die. I've always wanted to possess moist. But in your case, we can make some interesting choices here. We could try to ignore that time symbol over there, but it's going to be a dangerous resource. We want to be very mindful of how often we utilize that. I think we're going to start with... As I don't know what to start with, actually. We're currently on red. We want to get some stuff over here, so we're going to grab our dice back, which we probably should have done before. No, we're currently on blue. We're on blue. I need to get my... This is the problem with playing solo. I'm not thinking in terms of my character. I'm thinking in terms of both characters. So currently Blue's turn. Blue would like to do a bunch of stuff to advance our track. We could discard this to move 1 pip over there. We really need to generate more red and blue and all those things. So honestly, this is going to be a little problematic because Luna's over here. We're going to have to wait till this turn to actually do anything. So we're going to start with an investigation. We're going to pip this down in order to have another investigate action, moving up our insight, and grabbing another opportunity where we currently are. In search of aeriform pools. One of the things that makes the Scarab such a great science vessel is a state-of-the-art molecular disentangler, a remarkably useful piece of equipment powered by a very rare and special kind of gas that we're completely out of. The gas your scanner has found nearby is not it. Immediately place the moment marker here. When the object to the right is found, place the marker on that node. So we don't have diffusive gas, do we? We have pressurized gas, which I forgot to put down, or I missed. Pressurized gas is going to be over here. Did I miss any other spots? Okay, so this represents the fact that usually you have a way of getting these discoveries. Diffusive gas, here we go. I missed it, I didn't see it. Okay, so diffusive gas is over here. This should be on this node, and now we have the opportunity to gather that. So I'm glad we did that first. That works well for me. So I'm going to move this down 1 over here like so. Okay, we're going to do that. That seems like the right opportunity. When we do that, we're going to cross an insight. So we're getting that insight. And we also have this marker over here where I can rotate a die down to locate the object and I have to be elevated. I'm not elevated. Well, that's the worst. That's the worst. How'd I get elevated? Okay, we're going to have to make some choices here, okay? We're going to start with, first of all, we're going to get one of that. I don't like this game at all. We're going to go ahead and add that to our pool. So we have that because we're currently grounded. We have to be elevated to get the diffusive gas. I mean, I want the diffusive gas, right? That seems like a good thing to want. We're going to put this down over here and worry frantically about what our options and choices in life are like. Now, we could traverse that edge as well if we wanted to. I don't know how comfortable I feel about that just yet. Luna has gone over here, but Luna hasn't rolled a die, so we're going to roll some green because it looks like we're going to need some more green right now. Although, you know what? We're going to go ahead and roll some blue, actually. Okay, so we're going to roll some blue. We generate 2 blue in Luna's node. Okay, that's going to be there. Now, we could try to grab that blue if we wanted to. We're going to need more opportunities. Now, we still have 2 actions left. I could try to cover this symbol to walk over there and see if I can become elevated, potentially. I don't yet know. That's going to be an interesting conversation. So, if we move that over there, we become elevated. We have to see what goes on there. And I just don't know how that plays out. So I have 2 more actions left. One's going to have to be a rest, and one could be gathering. I could gather more blue, but I kind of want to gather red. Red seems to be very important because it helps us avoid time markers. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and gather red. So I'm going to pip this down 1 over here to generate 2 more red, which will help me avoid time markers later. And then for right now, we're going to rest on blue, moving that up 1, and that will be the end of blue's turn, I believe. I'm doing that correctly. All looks good, which means we move over to red's turn. Now, since we're starting our turn, we are going to once again get that perplexing calm, so 2 more dice are going to pip up, and the eagle-eyed amongst you who realized a turn ago that I did something wrong, okay? Because when you start your turn in the storm, you actually take distress, which we haven't talked about yet. I have just been doing the benefit of this without actually doing the taking the distress part. So let's go ahead and resolve that and fix that issue. So what's going to happen right now is we did the time thing. Do we advance time? Well, if it moved on his turn onto the storm, then it moved on your turn onto the storm, then it moved to his turn to over here and your turn. I think we did time correctly, maybe not, but this person should have 2 distress, this person should have 1 distress. We actually have to be much more careful than I've been because I have been screwing up. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how that works, okay? We also really need to get together right now. We need to team up. This is abysmal what we've been doing. So I'm probably going to die, for the record. So we're going to go ahead and put these on various spots. I'm going to put this on the recover spot over here because I don't need to. When gained, resolve the storm effect, which I've been doing correctly. And if the crew has 4+ distress total, we lose a trust. That is the part that we have to be very careful of. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on and investigate. No, I don't. I always want to investigate. I'm going to put this over here on... This is interesting. This is interesting. I actually like this. This character has a good ability here, which is actually very helpful. Although, again, problems. And then this person over here has a distress on one of their spots, and we'll put it on the recover as well. So we have 3 distress. We want to try to not have 4 distress, which is going to be a problem for us. Let's see what we can do to help that. So number 1, we have this ability over here, tweak chronology. We have this one, shift magnetic resonance, set all local explorers to the same elevation. So he can easily get out of distress. It's him that's the problem. I think we have to team up. I think I have to waste a lot of time teaming up. So here's what we're going to do. Okay, ready for this? We're going to just deal with the consequences of my horrible planning. Horrible planning. We're going to discard this to move 1 pip. Okay, we're going to get a whole lot of extra nice stuff. We're going to discard this to move 1 pip from the dynamo to cross this barrier here. Okay, that's going to cover and permanently negate any node edge symbol. So what's going on is I have to, because I read it, move from the dynamo to cover. That's not what it says. Move from the dynamo to cover any node edge symbol, which then negates the node edge symbol. So that threw me off on the wording. This will go away off to the side. We'll put this in our discarded pile of things. This will go back to the little pile over here. So we discarded our resource. We've covered that edge. We are safe in that sense. Luna is, well, there. Doesn't help us at all, unfortunately. We're going to try to... I feel this is a problem. I might just deal with this, honestly. Luna's going to try to get that away. You know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep that baby behemoth over here. And we're going to leave things as is. Okay, I'll explain why shortly. So we're going to move this back over here to the dynamo. We're going to walk down 1. But when we walk down 1, in order to avoid time... Nope, we're going to move this. We're going to move Luna over here. ignore all the things I'm just doing and changing and doing and changing. It's the process of trying to optimize around not dying. Not dying is a good thing in these games. We put that down on the zone, and now we can go ahead and put one of our dice into that zone in order to in order to basically elevate myself, which is an interesting problem because the storm is eventually going to hit me anyway. But I think we're going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to move myself. We're going to go ahead. Let's take this bionic leash action so I have it closer to me. And I'm going to put it over here so we can see it actually. Okay. Bionic leash. Adjust the elevation of Explorer within one node of Luna. So I could do it with that, or I could just do it with Shift Magnetic Resonance, which I think is the better option. So I think I'm going to use Shift Magnetic Resonance to pip that down 1. I'm still going to move Luna. You'll see why soon enough. And then we're going to bump myself to being up here. So I'm going to move myself up here so that we're not in trouble. So I'm no longer going to be starting my turn in the storm. It means I don't get those pips as much, but you got to do what you got to do. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move down 1 now. Now, when we move down 1 now, we're going to utilize this ability, Tweak Chronology. Okay, so we're going to use that ability to avoid the time moving. So that's going to cost us the 1. So he's using that ability to avoid that, so we don't have the time hitting us. Because I'm electrified, I will then gain 1 pip over here, which means I will do that over here. So we're going to go ahead and cross into that next zone, and I'm going to turn this to a green. So I just got the next level of that over here. This is going to be here, like so, and then we're going to grab a blue breakthrough. Okay, we have a bunch of blue there, which might be helpful. Activate Shield Bubble. Until end of turn, an explorer on Luna's node is immune to gaining distress or suffering energy storm effects. So we have this over here. We're trying to get Luna down to her because you have more ability to shift resonance because of Shift Magnetic Resonance. So I want Luna to hang out with a blue character there. So we have all that. That's all going great. We got the electrified. We bumped up over there. We're doing fine. We haven't used any of our actions yet, which is beautiful. And the question is, do I want to try to mitigate around this? Which I think I might. I think I might want to mitigate around this. Okay. So we're really not, like, there's only 2 structures. I don't know what happens. Do we build buildings in this mission? I don't know how this works. We're going to have to figure this out. These 2 must be build sites, whatever. Okay. So we're still taking our action. We have the distress. We can take actions to help remove distress, but we're not really there yet. We can ignore stuff going on. I think I want to cross this barrier. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to discard this over here. I think it seems like a good option. Yeah, I think I'm going to discard this. Okay, so I'm going to discard this over here. And then I'm going to move this little pip from the dynamo to cross the time icon. So now we're going to go do what I said a second ago, and that's no longer a factor. This will move off to the side where it's just going to sit now, and then I can take a traverse action. I can't take a traverse action. I blocked it, so we're still fine. We're still doing totally fine. I think I'm doing fine on pips. Pips are not my issue. My issue is everything else. I'm going to generate some more energy. This should be back by you. Your dice are off. I'm going to generate some more energy because I'm using that like there's no tomorrow. So I'm going to rotate that down 1 to generate 2 more energy, which will be very helpful as we progress. I think before Luna moves, we're going to generate and pull up those 2 blue. So we're going to generate these 2 blue before she moves, as well as the 1 extra because we utilize the blue. And this last one kind of has to go on rest, which will advance time forward. That is her turn. We're now moving over to Blue's turn. So Blue's going to go ahead and start his turn in the storm, unfortunately, which means we're going to have to go ahead and take a distress, which is not good. So here's what we're going to do over here. We're going to go ahead and take a distress over here. We're going to load it up onto a spot on his board. This is not the bestest at the moment, honestly, but watch what happens. Okay, we're going to see a few things here. So the first thing that happens is we're going to go ahead and take a distress. Secondly, because we now have 4 distress, we're going to lose trust. Trust is a mechanic that, let's go ahead and put this somewhere. That's going to be over here. We'll lay this here. Trust is a mechanic we haven't talked about yet. But trust is going to reduce, which means we're going to flip this ability over here to support, which is over here. Move a stress from another local explorer to yourself. I don't like that. Why would I want that? Oh, because you at least get... No, I don't like that at all. That's not... Oh, interesting, because you benefit from having distress. I see what's going on here. Okay, and this action over here, these actions, in other words, they depend on the current stress and they rotate. We have the commander action is going to be swapped instead, the investigate. So we're going to do switching up investigate, reveal an opportunity on another explorer's node. Interesting. Okay, cool. So it switches up that action. That's all fine and good. But We also are going to move 2 pips up. That's the good news. So we do get the upside, but we got the downside. We need to be very mindful of this distress over here. It's going to start causing us issues because we lost that trust already. If we lose further trust, we're going to lose pips on our dice, which isn't inherently a problem because we're going to gain those pips right back as long as the storm is here, but it's going to become a problem sooner rather than later. So we're going to go ahead and take our blue turn. We really want to get Luna over to us. Now, I could theoretically get closer to Luna, but not enough to really matter just yet. Let's move these dice back to this player over here, to red. We're going to go ahead and move Luna 1, crossing this over here. We'll have Luna go ahead and generate some blue resources, because that's all you can do over the... Ooh, 3! 3 is very tempting. Okay, 3 is very tempting. I can start moving backwards, or I can try to find another way of getting elevated. That's a hard one. That is a hard one. I could cross that edge node over there to try to figure things out. Of an explorer within 1 node of Luna. I could actually get elevated this turn. No, I can't. I can't traverse right now. Although I could go ahead and move it to another action space by rotating a die down. So the question is, how much do I care? You know what I could do? What I could do is we're effectively going to move 3 time symbols. If I cross a single edge... Okay, I got this. I got this. Okay, I understand what I'm doing now. I'm going to go ahead and actually use time against me. The rulebook says this. The rulebook is like a big deal about it. It says time is a resource. Use it, but use it wisely. They make a terminology. The point is you're supposed to use time as a resource, and I'm going to. I'm going to stay grounded, but I'm going to ensure that when my turn starts again the next time, I am with the storm. Okay, so I'm going to stay grounded. Well, I'm going to have the storm go up to avoid the storm. It all makes sense. I know what I'm doing here. So I'm going to cross this resource over here, okay, as my free movement of the round. And that, unfortunately, is going to cost me 2 time, which is not what I wanted. Do I want to use a tweak chronology? Because it's going to move forward 2. I don't want time to go forward too much. So I'm going to go ahead and tweak chronology over here. Maybe use to ignore a time symbol from any source except rest. I can only do it once per turn, so I'm going to ignore 1 time symbol, moving here and moving time forward because of the other time symbol. That one says if I have the moist thing, then great, but I don't have moist, so I'm not going to worry about that. And we have low density gas over here, which we're still trying to get our hands on. Although the truth is I want it to be elevated to get this. It's not great. It's not great. All kinds of things are just not great. Okay. Now, I could traverse. I can't traverse. We covered that. I'm not going to be elevated, but that's fine because time is going to move forward. I'm going to go ahead and put this over here to advance that upwards, and time will move forward. So that's the good news there. Wrong person every time. I mentally think of this side of the board. We're going to go ahead and put this over here to adjust that upwards. Although I really need more red. Maybe we'll put green there. I'll put green there to adjust green upwards. I'm going to tick red down to generate more red. So we're going to go ahead and get more red over here, which is the good part. I do have my electrified status over here that I could discard at any point, but I don't know if I care to right now. And then I can go ahead and do that. That's not relevant. I also have blue, which means I could utilize blue to collect on Luna's spot. It's all okay. None of it's great. But I think I will go ahead and use blue to collect on Luna's spot, because Luna's spot is great for collecting on blue. So I'm going to move that down and then put 1 over here, plus the 3 we have over here. So we have a whole lot of blue. Blue's going to be the best resource ever once we can actually elevate one of us to blue, which, I mean, one of us has blue over here. Activate shield bubble. That would be useful. But Luna's not there, so that's not going to help us right now. And we're charging away from Luna. Anyways, when I go ahead and run on time, I should move this forward by 1, and that's going to end my turn. Okay, that's our turn. We're going to take these things back, and we're going to continue moving. That was a 2. That was a 2. We're going to go ahead and head to this next character, this orange person over here, is elevated. They're out of the storm, so they're going to be just totally fine. But it also means that we're going to try to pivot around the storm to try to avoid that. So what I'm going to do to manage that is time is going to be racing forward, so we'll move this up 1, which is going to advance time forward 1, which means we're going to push the storm up here, and we're going to go to the next storm card, which could only be a good thing, right? I mean, we'll see what happens here. Chain Lightning. Remove 1 data from this node if possible, then remove 1 data from an adjacent node if possible. Continue this process until the current node has no data. Remove 1 data from this node if possible. Then remove the different adjacent node if possible. Continue the process until the current node has no data. Wow, that's interesting there. Okay, So we have to be mindful. We could be chaining lightning out and just losing all the blue data on the board, which is fine. It's fine. We're all good. We're all good. I'm going to go ahead and have Luna move up because I still want to get over there to that character. We're going to go ahead and generate some green, I guess, now, because we have plenty of blue anyway. That's going to be one solitary green. It would be nice if we could roll better on green. So Luna's moving up over there. We're going to use our ability to set all local explorers to the same elevation. So I'm going to pivot myself downwards to avoid that happening. So you're going to go ahead and move down to grounded, okay, by spending a single red using our shift magnetic resonance, which is very, very helpful, okay? But that is not the point. The point is I still have a bunch of actions to take because I still have to take 2 more actions. I'd love to really deal with helping each other, but I still need to build this over here. Now, I think I could, actually. If I go ahead and spend my move over here, what's going to happen is I'm going to move over there, which is going to give me 2 insight up over there, which is excellent. And then I have to go ahead and take this action, which I still have been very slow at doing, but right about now, I could finally do so. So I'm going to take a die. We'll take this one and pip it down by 1, and I'm going to fabricate a pylon, putting it down over here, and that's going to put a black one over here. But we do have to clear some stuff from the board, so we need more green. We need more green. This is a problem. This is a problem. Okay, it is what it is. We're going to go ahead and pay those 2 green. We're going to go ahead and pay 2 blue, and we're going to pay 2 red, shifting it down there. That was our action, and we could use a green. It doesn't really help us that much to use a green. I could use a blue to theorize. Another explorer gains an insight. That's not actually a bad thing to do. I don't mind having more abilities. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and use our blue to pip it down to theorize. I'll get an insight because I've utilized my ability. You'll get an insight because I've utilized my ability. And that should be our turn. Great. We're doing fine. We're doing fine. Everything's okay. It's all okay. It's all okay. We're going to head to blue. Blue's turn. Blue is away from the storm because I cleverly avoided that. That was beautiful. And now blue wants to go ahead and get to the elevator. The problem is blue doesn't have the resources we need. So Luna's going to go ahead and continue her little slow trek of just rolling dice and generating a little die. 3, there we go. If only someone were actually there. Okay, so Blue's going to go ahead and generate 3. Luna's generating that over there. We're still trying to just figure out how to survive here, which is important. Blue has to take their actions. We're going to take red to pip it up by 1, which should be good. The problem is we still need more red. That's going to be an ongoing problem. Red is our hardest resource to manage and maintain. We have the first pylon built. There's like no other pylons. Are we not supposed to build structures this game? Because it feels like we're not supposed to build structures this game, which is not what I wanted to hear. Wow. I don't like the fact that I can't build structures. I want to build my structures. Okay, cool. Let's deal with this. Let's deal with this. So, blue's still going. Blue has to take their actions. We could go ahead and we can't give insight to another player. We could traverse, which is not the worst. It involves crossing time, which I don't love, but it has to be done at some point, right? We could reveal an opportunity on another explorer's node, but that would cost the red one to... I mean, I don't have to spend red. I might not spend red just so I can get it done. I might not spend red. Oh no, I will spend red. I will spend red, because red pips up when I do that there. Okay, I'm doing that. Red pips up over there. I'm going to reveal an opportunity on another explorer's node. So we're doing that instead of the resting, and we're going to rest blue instead, and we're going to use green as our last action. That all works. We're going to go ahead and grab an opportunity. The opportunity will be as follows. Passing into the elements. Luna erupts in excitement. Her scanners indicate the nearby presence of pressurized gases quite unlike anything we've ever seen before. She requests that, should we find some, we save her a sample. A personal sample, for her own personal secret use, which is curious. Immediately place the moment marker here, this otherwise unused one. Pressurized gas, which is going to be here. Here, beautiful. Okay, as soon as we find this, we're going to put this token over here. And we're going to put this card over here as a reminder that I can go ahead and grab some pressurized gas and become elevated. That could be fun. Locate the object and be elevated. No, I have to be elevated, not become elevated. That's less fun. I can deal with that. I can deal with that, he says. Okay. So that was that action. I still have one more action, and because I matched pips, I get to take that. I still haven't moved, which I could move. I could move. I could traverse. I don't love any of these options. I do have to get up there, though, so I may as well... I'm not in a rush to get up there, honestly. I don't feel the need to make that happen. But I do need to manage my resources in general. I could just use this, honestly, to just generate a single green. It's like horrifically bad, but it might be the best option. I might do that. I don't have resources. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and generate a single green to simply scrounge for materials and move this to our box. And that's going to be Blue's turn. Okay, Blue's turn is done. We already moved the time. We already took care of that. Did we? Did we already move time? I feel like I did move time, but maybe not. I'm horrible at moving this time marker. If time moved on Orange's turn... No, we did it. Yeah, we did it correctly. Maybe. No. No, we didn't. Should be over here. Okay, so now Blue moves over here, I think, which means we all move down an endurance. Okay, I might be doing horribly incorrectly on the time marker. It's okay. Also, I've made no progress on this game. Just for the record, I'm going to lose this one horribly. So, it's Orange's turn. Orange did what he needed to do. Orange is going to pop on over here, and that also means Orange is going to get 2 insight going to the bottom over here. And we're going to go ahead and get some blue, because I feel having another blue ability would be really helpful right now, because we have an abundance of blue materials over there. But we're going to get that green over here. So now we have all 3 comprehensions from this character, and we have this ability. A local explorer who is in the storm may place themselves up to 2 nodes away. Ooh. A local explorer who is in the storm, so you have to be in the same alignment to the storm, may place themselves 2 nodes away. If they do, they gain an insight. Okay, cool. I like it. Great. Let's go ahead and pivot these down so we can see these all. That is great. Now, if I possess Electrified, I don't, so I don't get the extra. I do get those 2, though. And now I can go ahead and take this opportunity here, where I will go ahead, and I'm going to pip this down to 1 in order to capture a gas symbol. So I am going to become elevated. Now I have to look at the object and be elevated. That's a different story. How can I become elevated? I have to spend a red to become elevated. I don't want to do that. I'm willing to do that. I just don't want to do that. What are my options? I could spend... This investigate should be... Let's put this here. Okay, so I think I spend a red. I think that's what I do. I spend a red to get to elevation over here. I then immediately spend 1 to bump myself to being elevated, which is going to burn up some of this, but it's not the end of the world. But it's going to lose one of these, which is the end of the world. I feel like bad things are happening here. That's once per turn. Is now really the time to screw with the elevation? Because I'm going to be in the same spot as the storm. I'm going to get another distress. I'm going to do it because I want to get these things, but we'll find out. We'll find out if this is the right or the wrong call. So I am becoming elevated. I push that down. I'm shifting up to become elevated along with the storm. Then I now possess this, so I can now pip this down over here to 1. That's going to pursue an opportunity on my node. I'm going to move up 1 on that track because I have that aligned. I'm going to get this over here, which means I'm also going to get 2 more pips. And now I have the pressurized gas canister, and this can be all gonzos. So we're going to go ahead and put this into our gone discovery pile. We still have that one. This can return to the box. And that means I now get to grab one of these cards, which is going to be something I can definitely use. They're all red. They're all the same. They have to be the same. These are all just ways to discard things and negate node edge symbols. I mean, it's not the worst thing. It just feels like this is usually different game to game. So I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I'm just getting unlucky. I'll look into it after. I don't want to spoil the surprise for myself. So I've moved. I've utilized that die, and this will pip up and will advance time. That's my turn. I'm going to start my next turn in the storm, which isn't what I want. Oh, before I do that, we're going to go ahead and have Luna pop up over there and roll some green. This is not the right die. This does go back. This goes back. This goes back. And we roll a green, and we get 2, which is not the worst. I can work with 2, and that's over here. We move to blue. Blue is currently not in the storm. Blue is totally safe from bad things happening. Blue is going to go ahead and have Luna move over. And Luna does not trigger time symbols, in case I didn't make that clear. We're going to roll that. We get another 2 pips, which is beautiful. And that means blue is going to use their ability to... Interesting, we could control for that. Fine. Blue is going to go ahead and use their ability of green, reducing the green pip by 1 to gather these 2 into our pool and to pull another pip. Okay. Also, blue is currently sharing the same elevation as Luna, which we could spend a die to change. We could go ahead... We could activate Shield Bubble, which is until end of turn, Explorer on Luna's node is immune to gaining distress or suffering energy storm effects. That could be relevant next turn. So we can avoid the distress aspect by advancing time a little further, which I'm very wary to do because I feel like I don't have enough time to get things done. So I'm a little nervous here. I feel like I'm going to lose, but that's okay. I've lost before, nothing new. Blue's going to go ahead and put their red pip over here to advance red. And then blue's going to cross the time unit with their action, which is going to push time forward. Plus this one over here pushes it forward. I'll still do it. Okay, great. We're doing it fine. Then, I mean, blue could try to negate the edge symbol. It's not worth it. Okay, great. Not worth it. Fine, I got it. Then blue. Okay, that works. Okay, great. Now blue is going to go ahead and use their last die. And we're going to put it down on this action here, rotating it downwards. And we're going to give up the 2 red, the 2 green, and the 2 blue in order to build our second pylon, which means we finally have made some degree and sense of progress on this game. This is the worst. The absolute worst. There's nowhere to build things. It's fine, Alex, it's fine. This is going to go ahead and head there. We're going to return our dice. We have taken our turn, but before our turn is over, we get to read the next card. We've constructed the pylons. Yet another thing. You must construct additional pylons, Luna says. Which is odd, because no we mustn't. A quick inspection reveals that the storm has damaged Luna's scanner, causing erroneous readings. Okay, so Luna just can't be trusted. That's fine, I knew that all along. For the time being, when Luna scans for data materials, roll the dice twice and gain the lesser of the 2 results. Okay, cool. The implication that this planet could potentially take Luna from us strikes us to the core. We need to get this done and get the heck out of here. Lower trust by 1, which we can't do. So we're going to go ahead and distribute negatively 2 pips, but then we're also going to distribute positively 3 pips. So we get a net +1 pip. Okay. Now, in theory, if we were low enough, we'd actually have to go down and lose time, because if this ever rotates down further, we lose, but I can right now gain them right back. So I'm going to leave these as is and gain 1 pip somewhere. I don't know the best place to gain a pip. Blue would like to move this up. We're going to move up our green by 1 over here. Okay, that's fine. We did what you need to do. And now we go ahead and charge the pylons. To generate enough power for our repairs, we need to direct energy from the storm into each pylon. Place a black marker in a box when someone with the electrified property, both of them have electrified, uses the below action while at a pylon that you haven't charged yet. So we're actually both close to and on our pylons. I'm glad I didn't make too much progress away. We have to basically charge a pylon. Oh, that's pretty simple. We just have to be electrified and charge a pylon. Well, that's going to be easy. Cool. Okay, great. We're on to Orange's turn. Orange is going to start in the storm, which means this is going to happen. We're going to go, first of all, this is going to go jit, jit, and these are gone. Okay, so we lost our electricity, but we can't bounce back and forth anymore, so now we're done. From there, we're going to take a distress card, which we could do and we don't want to do, which is going to lower our trust, which means we reduce 2 pips. So I'm going to reduce 1 pip over here, and let's reduce a pip on blue. Blue. We're going to have to put this somewhere. I don't have any good spots to put it because they're all bad. We're going to put this down over here. They're all bad. Let's go ahead and put it on repair, on empath. Yeah, let's just do that. Cool. Which means I can't heal the other friend of mine. Whatever. It's all good. We're going to go ahead and move over here. Now, this is the good news, because we're going to move over across. We're going to get another 2 insight. We've still blocked that time symbol, so we're able to like really take advantage of gaining that insight, which means boom, boom, and we've gained another little blue token here. So we get another blue ability. And that's going to be very helpful because these abilities are very useful. Oh, interesting. Until end of turn, an explorer on Luna's node is immune to gaining distress or suffer energy storm effects. I'm going to give this up to not take that distress. Okay? Which is important because then I don't have to move these down. So this goes back there, and this goes back here. Okay, so actually that's actually good. I'm not going to take that distress, which means the 2 blue is still here. Okay, but immaterial. We have this one over here. Execute reverse yeet. Place an explorer 1 node closer to Luna's node. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Okay. Now it doesn't specify whether I ignore edge symbols, but it doesn't technically so. This goes back to reading rules and just double checking things. I'm not confident if that doesn't specify move. So it says place an explorer 1 node closer. So it sounds like I'm kind of hopping, which means I can jump across time symbols. I'm going to take advantage of that, just for the record. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to go ahead And that's our turn over here. And now we'll take the action. We will lower one of these dice over here. Let's lower this one over here in order to put it down and charge the pylon. So that's being lowered. We are charging this pylon over here. Okay, I don't know which one it is, but whichever one it is. How does it track which one? When someone's activated this ball at a pylon you haven't charged yet. It doesn't say which one is which pylon, but I'm going to just do this one over here. Then what I'll do is I will put this die over here and advance time forward, which is going to shove time out of the storm. Okay, that's the potential problem. I cheated, by the way. This I do have to take that distress. So this is going to pip down, and this is going to, back here and back here, because it had to be an explorer on Luna's node is immune to the distress, and I'm not on Luna's node. So we're going to put these two back in the box, but I do get one back because I didn't use that ability. We're all good. Fix the problem. Okay. So I charged the pylon. I did that. I rested. I advanced the storm, which means we move the storm card to the next one. Then we have this one over here. We have all local explorers are immediately grounded. That's intriguing. The storm has to move down though, so right now it'll be hitting blue in the face unless we solve for that, which we could solve for that. Okay, we can work with that. So what we're going to do is going to have Luna move up one, and we can roll for something in a second. We'll deal with that. That's automatically Luna's moving up one on her turn. We're going to roll for green. I still want green, so 3 or 1. So we get 1 because we're taking the lesser of those, which is not fun, but that's okay. Luna's up there now. That was our action here, and we still have this action which we can utilize for something else. I'm going to go ahead and pip this down to gain 2 red, because I want to get some energy charged up. I think that's helpful for us in general. Then, we can go ahead and, right now, we're not in the storm. So we're actually out of the storm, so we're fine there. Okay, so that's good. The bad part is, well, everything else. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to your turn, and you have to try to be protected by Luna. But I think we're done over here, so we're going to pull everything back. We've charged one pylon, and we are good to go. Let's head on over here. Let's head on over to blue. Blue's going to start their turn by activating Shield Bubble, which means now we're going to spend one, so we don't take another distress, because that would be bad. This, by the way, should be over here. We're fine over there. We're all fine. We're going to have Luna pop 1 away. That's just going to be Luna popping 1 away. We're going to roll for this. We have 1, which means automatically it's going to be 1 no matter what I roll for the second one. Then we will have you, sir. You, sir, are going to take an action using your dice over here. Let's use a green die. No, let's use a blue die. We're going to use a blue die over here, pipping it 1 down. And then we're going to charge the pylon. So now we've charged the pylon, which means we can immediately go to the next card before we finish taking our turn. So this is utilized. We're going to pop these back here, and we're going to read the next effect. That was a whole lot faster than the last action. But wait, there's more. Luna is able to self-repair a scanner with a process she claims tickled, which we have some questions about, and we have 2 fully charged mega batteries. Victories abound. Time to tether these pesky pylons to the Scarab with everyone's favorite piece of reliably unreliable tech, conducive relays. We need to establish a connection from each pylon to the Scarab by building a chain of relays on environment nodes between them. For example, so we need to connect them between the Scarab and the pylons, okay? So it's up to us how we do it, but we need to do that. Then we have this one. Place 6 relays, black markers here. Let's go ahead and put these down. These are the 6 relays we will need to connect back and forth between the pylons and the thing. You may place a relay on your node or remove one as a free action. When relays create a chain that connects the Scarab to both pylons, use the flip the switch action while grounded at the Scarab. You do not need relays on the pylon nodes or on the Scarab. Okay, so we need to have red and blue, which we have. We might actually survive. This is good. Splitting up was a good move. It was a tactical choice I made. Yeah, right. Okay. So as a free action, it doesn't specify how often. So as a free action, I'm going to go ahead and drop one on this outer tile. Then I'm going to spend a blue to reverse yeet my explorer over to where Luna currently is. And we're going to spend another token to put one down over here. So we're doing totally fine there. And I think we're going to have to wait for next turn unless we want to lose 2 time. Now I could also, I'm currently grounded and I kind of want to be elevated. Because otherwise I'll be taking distress, and that's bad because we're already running fairly low on resources. So I kind of want to be elevated for right now, and we could always ground downwards later. So if I want to be elevated, I would have to take the action Bionic Least to adjust the elevation of an explorer within one node of Luna. I could do it. I just don't love the process at play here. But I think I'm going to do it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take one of our other dice, and we're going to put it down on Luna. Okay, so we're rotating down a pip in order to adjust my elevation so that I am out of the storm. And then our last die is going to go down here, where we're going to advance time. We might make this out alive. Okay, that was our turn. Our dice come back. And now it's on to orange. Orange has the ability to go ahead and just say snap, crackle, pop, and put one down. Then we're going to go ahead and cross the barrier, which means we are going to get our second ability and rotate this to blue. So we're going to get a second green, not that we have a lot of green to go around. And we have drink behemoth secretions. A local explorer loses a thingy. That's cool. That's useful. That is useful because it helps keep in control. So we're going to go ahead and do that to try to stay a little bit more in control of what's going on, because you're currently out of the storm. That's all fine. We're going to use one of these, because I don't really have a lot that needs that. A local explorer who is in the storm, it's a local explorer. That's not helpful. So we're going to go ahead and lose one of these over here. So we're going to lose this impaired. And then we could start discarding the electrifieds if we need to. But I already crossed over here with my free action. I could go ahead and discard this to put a pip down here to help me further get out over there, which is not a bad thing. I'm going to go ahead and drop one over here, by the way, in case that wasn't clear. Then I will go ahead and I'm going to discard this network over here to move one from the dynamo. So I'm going to move one over here and permanently negate a node edge symbol. I'm just trying to buy all the time I can right now. When entering, if you possess electrified, go up one. So I do have that. And then I will move up here using my red die. So I'm going to put my red die down, which is going to give me an edge over here and allow me to move one further, which brings me even closer to basically almost being done. Why do I feel like we're not tracking this correctly? Oh, we don't need to have on the pylons. We don't need to have on the pylons. These outer ones aren't relevant. Okay, so we're slowly making progress. We're over there. We should be fine. Okay, I actually, interestingly enough, I could place an explorer one node closer to Luna's node. I could even give up a blue to do even one more, but I don't think I want to. I have reasons. I'm trying to conserve my blue because there's not a lot of blue to go around. I'm going to need 3 blue over here. I'm also going to need a red. This goes away. This goes back in the box. I still have 2 dice left. I'm going to have to pip one up. So we're going to go ahead. We're running low on time here. Which one is less useful or not useful? I'm currently elevated, so I can get an extra 2 pips on this die over here, which is not the worst. Let's go ahead and get an extra 2 pips on this die because I'm currently elevated, so I can use that action spot. And then we're going to put this one up by 1 and advance time 1, which means we are slowly going to die. We are never, ever, ever getting back together. Blue's turn. Did I just screw up again in terms of the dice allocation? Yeah, I did, didn't I? I did everything correctly-ish, except I used the wrong dice. So this one should be, every time. So this one should be, this one went up to here. No, this was by 1. This was by 1. And this was down 1. This is up 1. That was what you had. Okay, let's go back to here. Slight change. We're going to put this over here. I probably messed this up 14 times. It is what it is at this point. You're going to have this be our rest die. And then I can't do a simple traverse action. Okay. I could pivot the die downwards. Okay. I could pivot the die downwards to get the traverse action. I'm going to shove this down over here and pivot this die downwards. Then I'm going to, instead of resting that, I'm going to pivot this one down here and this one over up here. I think it mostly works. I probably screwed up who gets what exactly on these, but I don't have a lot of options, so it's going to have to be the way it's going to have to be. Okay. I'm elevated. I took my turn. Let's clean that up, and then it goes to Blue's turn. I did everything mostly correctly. I keep mixing these people up. I'm sorry. Blue. Up to Blue. Blue has to do their things, so they're going to cross that edge, and the way they're going to do that is utilizing our execute reverse yeet. So we're going to have Luna move 1, and then we're going to have Blue reverse yeet over that edge symbol. Okay, so that gives us the edge symbol jump we need. which is going to cost us a blue. Okay, that's what we're using our last blue for. We're just trying to get down over here. We're going to use a free action to put this down over here. We could, in theory, take the diffusive gas option, but I don't think it's worth our time right now. I don't think it's worth our time. This, by the way, should be over here because you discarded that. Then, speaking of discarding that, we're going to discard this to move another one down to here to ignore that time symbol, because I think every degree of time symbol that doesn't help us is important to get out of the way. And then we'll take our regular move crossing that. So that's our regular move, which is going to give us one of these. Jeez, every time. Okay, you're moving up over there. And that means we are now one away. We could, in theory, traverse, but it's not... It is helpful to traverse. It is helpful. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and traverse. We're going to go ahead and traverse over there, utilizing a red. That red's going to pip down, moving us over here. So we're now safely on the pylon, okay, on the scarab, which is where we need to be to do that. We have our blue, we have our red, we have 3, and the last thing we'll need to do is we'll need to generate more red. So I'm going to rotate this downwards to generate a red, which is basically netting us down to nothing, but I can only get 1 red anyway. And then this last action will rest it, moving it up, and that's going to advance time. We're still not in the storm. Oh, that's a slight problem. We'll figure it out. Okay, great. That's going to be our turn over. You'll see the problem we have in a second. I think it's a problem. It might not be. Let's figure this out. We avoided all time markers. We're good there. It's now this person's turn. So one action will be walking over the nothingness of time. The other action will be traversing to there, which is going to cost us a single... Okay, I can do this. We're going to go ahead... I don't know if I can do this. I might have to wait till next turn, which is, I mean, not the end of the world, but it's not the best. We're going to spend our action here to rotate this downwards and cross that. Okay, that will move time forward by 1. This is going to be our rest die, so we're going to jump here. That's going to move time forward by 1. And then the problem is, yeah, we can't do it this turn. So the problem is I need to be in the same elevation. Now I have shift magnetic resonance, which allows me to set all local explorers to the same elevation, which I'm going to have to do. But that also means that I now don't have enough to do that. See the problem? So for my last action, I will go ahead and simply put this downwards by 1 to pop that back up. But we are now both in the storm. Okay, so we're both grounded, and we're in the storm. And now let's see what happens. Okay. We move to... I think we're fine. We're fine. When we move to Blue's turn, it is Blue's turn. Blue starts in the storm. Because Blue starts in the storm, they're going to take a distress. Because we have 4 distress, we're going to go down on trust. Because we go down on trust, we lose 2 pips. Because we lose 2 pips, we're going to just go ahead and rotate these downwards because I don't think it's coming back to Red's turn. Then Blue has to try to do what they need with 3 dice, which shouldn't be a problem because we have 3. Blue's going to grab this die, set it down to 1, and boom. We forgot to put this down over here, but we did. And that's basically it. That is it. Let's go ahead and read the card. Okay, we have to move these 3 down. We have both technologies we need. Both explorers are grounded, okay, because we have to do that while grounded. We're on the scarab. Let's leave this dust in the dust. Figures. The relays work perfectly, probably for the first time in history, and there's no one for light years around for us to brag to. Oh well, staying not dead will have to be reward enough. Get everyone onto the scarab. Move all crew onto the scarab, where they are already, and we win the game. That is Unsettled. I probably made about 1 million mistakes. I don't know how many of them mattered, but there are probably about 1 million mistakes. I constantly was messing up blue and orange because I did blue and orange, but then I had orange go to this side and blue go to that side, so I messed up the boards all the time. That's less of a problem when you're playing your own character in multiplayer. It's more of a problem when you are A, playing both characters in solo, and B, when you are switching where they actually head, which probably was his own tactical error. But we survived. We survived by the skin of our teeth, had this circled around again, which was about to hit that over there. This would have moved down, and orange would have become unconscious, which isn't the end of the world. You could still win if you drag off your unconscious teammate. If both of you become unconscious, you lose. But that's Unsettled. This is my 3rd planetary experience, and it is just as good as the other 2. Probably in between the first and the second one. It was definitely tight. Felt like I really had to work to make it all work, but that is Unsettled. really enjoying this one. We're going to go ahead and call this a wrap on this video, but rest assured there will be a review coming shortly. I still want to dive into at least 1 or 2 other planets, and I still want to try this 2 players, because so far I've only done 3 players and 1 player. So I want to get a few more games under my belt, and there will be a review before the Kickstarter, so you'll have a chance to see that. In any case, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and as always, have a good one.